Hey folks, slightly long time without posting much mod related content with the 310, which is currently very pulled apart, as you can see, for fun reasons. I have been beaten on this bike super hard down at the Open Roads Rally down in Victoria, little tiny place called La Cola. Amazing Victorian high country riding has been super good, but the bike has definitely copped the flogging. Lots of repairs and stuff that I've been doing, just little things. Like the bike never let me down, never skipped a beat, but just yeah, it got dropped a lot. So lots of just little bits and pieces. But because I have to, just go through and clean everything up, I want to talk revisiting my pre-filter for the paper air filter with a bike like the 310, and this will be applicable to other bikes as well that have a airbox style, a little like this, where you have an intake snorkel and then a paper filter inside your intake plenum. Now, the reason that I run a pre-filter has been that when the fairing and everything is on the bike as it normally would be, there's no easy way to access this air filter other than to take basically the side panels either side and the main tank cover, which when you're out on a long trip like an adventure ride that might be going for 5 days and it's dry and dusty, you'll definitely get a lot of crud inside your air filter. And I can actually change just a windsock style air filter without taking all those fairings up. I can sort of reach in under here, under the fairings, and insert the filter into the snorkel. Now, what I was originally using was one of these guys. So this is a intake pre-filter for a Honda 300 or a 250 CRF 250 300L, and it would go up inside your snorkel like so, and then you fold it around the edge, and that would just help. It's an oil filter, so it just help a lot to keep the crud out of the paper filter and be able to swap it in and out relatively easily. Now, the thing is, I don't know what the Honda actually looks like, but I suspect maybe the intake snorkel is a bit larger internal diameter, because what I was finding is on the 310, it's kind of squeezing the filter in quite a lot. And initially, I didn't think it was affecting power, but I did some riding with it removed, and I suddenly felt, you know what? Yeah, I think this is robbing me of a little bit of power, and there's not a lot of power here to steal. 3 horsepower is a lot on a bike that only has 30 horsepower. So what I did is I looked for some filter foam to try and make the same style, a bit more specific to the bike we have here, but using thinner foam. And so that's what I've done, and I'm going to do a little how-to on how to do it and all that, which I couldn't find much on when I first did this, but I've got a huge sheet of this stuff I got off eBay, like. So this is 50 millimeter foam, also 60 ppi, so the same sort of or pore count as the foam that Unifilter uses. And my hope is that by making it a bit thinner, I'll sort of get a different compromise. Like the CRF Unifilter would for sure be filtering incredibly well, but I think there's a trade-off between filtration and power. So I'm opting to try and get a bit of power and also have my cake to eat as well to maintain a bit of power. So no more gas bagging. I'll get into it and we will show you how it all is done, what it all looks like, and how it performed down in Lycola. So let's go over to the workbench. All right, here's everything we need for making a pre-filter for our snorkel type airbox on our adventure bike. Now, first thing you need, obviously, some filter foam. Now, you're obviously going to need to work somewhere cleaner than I am for the purpose of this video, because we don't want to get this schmutz on your filter before you've even got started with it. So there's our just off-cutter foam for the purpose of demonstration, and some scissors for trimming. Now, for fiddly shapes, obviously you need to use scissors, but if you want really nice straight lines, what you can use is a guillotine, like from an office supplies store, for cutting paper, and you can get those nice straight lines and just try and get a bit more of a professional finish. Now, I've got 2 steel rules, and the reason I have the steel rules is for getting a really nice sharp edge for our seams where we glue. So what I'll do is I'll just line that up on there, like so. Now, hot glue gun, just an Azedo hot glue gun from the hardware store with the glue it came with. Nothing special going on there. And we want to run our pretty nice, you want to be pretty liberal, bead of hot glue. Not doing the best job here, but again, this all gets easier the more you do it. There's a pretty long edge, this one. So yeah, and right to the edge. Now, what we want to do, you can already see that glue sinking into the foam. So we just fold it, get it lined up, and grab the other steel rule and just squash that in. Squash it really nice and tight. Just leave that for a bit for that glue to set. Takes a few moments. That's probably long enough, doesn't take too long. We'll just leave that for a bit. Now, because that's steel, it just lifts off there quite nicely. You can see the importance in sort of trying to get a pretty good even bead. I'm rushing this a little bit, but when you get more serious about it, you can spend more time getting a really good bead, even trying the different nozzles on your hot glue gun. But you can see that glue has penetrated all the way along. You can see some imprints of the numbers. So what you can do, if you get your nice bead, is then come along, you can take your scissors and then you can actually just, to get that really sort of nice look, is then trim all this excess and goop off. And we can end up with something that looks like that. Now, it's not going to be perfect. You don't have a machine to do this, it's just you. Now, I'm going to leave that a little bit longer to make sure it's cool. What we can do in the meantime is, say if we're doing a windsock style, we're going to need some hot glue in the end there to actually seal the whole thing off. So we can just come along and run another bead inside here. So you'll loop that in there. Again, onto the steel rule for our nice seam. Compress it in. We want to get that glue penetrating sort of all through the foam, so it makes like a nice glue matrix. Same deal again, and just because it's a steel rule, it doesn't seem to want to stick. Now, I'd ideally want to see a bit more in those edges, but see how we go. But again, spend some time, and you'll get better results. So you can just trim that again, and that's sort of going to be our windsock style. Now, I was a bit dubious of the strength of some of these seams. So if you get a good edge along here, let's see how strong it actually is. Yeah, you're actually tearing the foam. Look at that. You tear the foam before the seam goes, at least with this particular foam I'm using and this thickness. So you do get a pretty good result. So there you go. Now I'll show you for comparison what I've done with or what the factory type one compared to one I made for my particular bike. I'll go grab that now, just for comparison. Hopefully you can see that there. It's much thinner, is so that when it's up inside the airbox, there's a bigger surface area for filtration, but also the air to actually get in. And instead of sort of primarily being filtered at the end here, more filtered throughout the entire sock. Now in this baggie, this is how I keep the ones I've made. These have been oiled. I use exactly the same oil and everything that I use for the Unifilter windsock. And so that's one that I've made for the 310. Goes up inside, and then that's the end that folds out over the end of the snorkel. So we'll go over to the bike and just see how things look there. So here's our intake snorkel. Let's just see if we can get you a better view. Intake snorkel. There's the end of the homemade filter. Maybe you can see there is a bit of crud that has built up on there. Let's just try and So even though it wasn't dusty, there's still plenty of grot. And what we can do, this air filter was actually replaced not long before the rally, but I can pop these clips and actually show you what we're trying to achieve. So that just comes off there. So that's the intake side. But if I remove the paper filter, you can see it's pretty well immaculate. I'm very happy with that. You can see the hopefully there the inside part of the windsock. Even if I pry that open, it all looks pretty good and clean. Let's just remove this guy. So he just peels out of there. Let's pull him out. Okay. We'll go back over to the bench and we'll just try and turn this filter inside out and just see how far down the grot has managed to sort of penetrate. Okay, so here's our snorkel as it has come out of the bike after the open roads rally. We just start and turn this inside out. So we can see there's a fair bit of grot. Now what I'm happy with is, like, first of all, you know, the seam's holding up as I turn this inside out, because it is pretty hard on the filter itself. And, you know, look at this, there's plenty of crud that this has kept out of that air filter. And the main reason is on bikes that you can't easily access your air filter, like you have to take a fairing off. That's what this is all about, because I can change these without taking the intake fairing off the bike. It's getting a bit challenging to... I've already torn it. Okay, so these are pretty delicate. That's the problem with the thin foam, but the good thing is I got a square meter of this stuff to make freshies, so maybe that these aren't all that reusable, because I do like to turn them inside out to clean it. But honestly, for the time and cost, and once you make a template, you can bang them out pretty easily. But look, it is absolutely, well, it's already torn, so let's rip this guy open. You can get and see the seams held up. Let's see if I can. And what I'm curious now, I want to see. I know that the air is getting down into this if it's got some filth all the way in. And look at, oh, I'm stoked with that. Like that. Look at that. Look at that. Now that was not. This is not a dry, dusty rally. This was day one raining. So yeah. So absolutely, this is. You know, you'd be up for a new air filter, paper filter. Like I say, if you're on a long trip, yeah. Look at that. Let's just tear that. Yeah. Yeah, so that's yeah, I'm actually really thrilled because it's definitely helping out and doing a good job. The only downside is it might be a little bit fragile for servicing, and it might be more a case of just having to make new ones of these. But if that's it, so be it. You've seen it doesn't take much to make them, and look what that's kept out of that air filter. Brilliant. Excellent. All right. Looking good. Looking good. Well, there you go. It is possible and pretty cheap to make them yourself. And in the case of my bike, not lose out too much on performance. Because, yeah, definitely I would say the thinner, more open filter, I'm not feeling nearly the horsepower loss as I felt probably with the thicker Honda CRF filter. So yeah, so look, these are great, and these have been serviced a number of times from Unifilter. Very robust, very good, but I think just that thickness of foam, and it probably for serviceability is why they run the thicker foam. Yeah, it's I think it just chokes the bike up that little bit more than I'd like. So anyway, there we go. Little how-to. Happy riding, happy filter making, or whatever else you're going to do. And yeah, keep an eye out, hoping to get back into the content making. All right, see you all out there.